Hi, students! Pastor Yarus, John P. Tadina, here from Temple Christian Academy, Kabunkalin, and welcome back for another lesson. Today, we're diving into a really important topic. Lesson 3, My Time, Talents, and Treasures. We're going to break down exactly what this means based on your module, exploring the core ideas, the principles, and the biblical truths that guide us. So, what is this big idea of stewardship? To really get it, we have to start with our relationship with God. The module makes it clear. God has given us absolutely everything we need to live a fruitful life. Now, the key word here is steward. A steward isn't the owner. Think about it like a manager. A manager is someone who is trusted to take care of the property or resources that belong to someone else. In our spiritual lives, this concept is huge. God is the owner. He provides all the resources, everything we have. We are the stewards. We are the managers, and we're expected to handle what He has entrusted to us responsibly. It's not about what we own, but about how we manage what we've been given. The lesson breaks down God's gifts into 3 main categories. First, we have time. Time is called the great equalizer. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, where you live, or what you do. God has given every single one of us the exact same amount of time each day. 24 hours. No more. No less. The real challenge of stewardship is how we use that time. Are we making our lives productive within that fixed time frame? The module even suggests a great exercise. Try tracking how you spent your time yesterday. It can be a real eye-opener to see where we might be wasting this precious, non-renewable resource. Second, God has entrusted us with talents. These aren't just for our own fun or entertainment. The lesson says they are given so that we can live creatively. Being a good steward of your talents means first, discovering what you're good at. Are you a musician? An artist? Are you great with numbers? Or a natural leader? Once you know your talents, the next step is to use them to create, to build, and to bless others. Your talents have a purpose beyond just yourself. And third, we have treasures. This refers to our material possessions, the treasures from the earth. This includes our money, our property, and all our physical resources. A good steward doesn't hoard these treasures for themselves. Instead, they manage them according to the will of the owner, which is God. It's about using what we have in a way that aligns with His purposes. Now, to help us understand this better, the module gives us 7 specific principles of stewardship. These principles really shape how a believer should view their resources. Principle number 1 is the foundation of everything. Everything belongs to God. This changes your entire perspective. If you believe you own your life, your money, or your skills, you'll naturally use them for yourself. But if you truly believe they belong to God, your question changes from what do I want to Lord, how do you want me to use your money and your time? Principle 2. Each person is a steward and has been given a trust. A trust is something valuable that has been committed to your care. The important thing here is that no Christian is exempt. It doesn't matter who you are. Everyone has been given something to manage for God. Principle 3. Each steward has a different trust. This is so important. We should never compare ourselves to others. Some people are given great wealth to manage. Others might be given incredible intellects or amazing artistic ability. The amount or the type of trust might be different for each person, but the responsibility to manage it well is exactly the same for all of us. Principle 4. Each steward is to think of a way he may use that trust wisely. Stewardship is not a passive thing where you just sit back. It requires thought, intellect, and strategy. You have to actively think of a way to use your resources for good. It's about being intentional and creative in your management. Principle 5 is a universal spiritual law. Each steward reaps what he sows. It's a simple concept with profound implications. If you invest your time and talents wisely, if you sow good seeds, you will produce a harvest. You will reap positive results. But if you waste them, if you sow nothing, you'll reap nothing. Principle 6. God holds each steward accountable. This is a crucial point. Because we are managers and not owners, there will be a day of accounting. We will have to answer to God for how we used everything He gave us. This isn't meant to be scary, but it does add a sense of seriousness and purpose to our daily choices. And finally, principle number 7, which is a critical distinction. The steward's objective is not to be successful, but to be faithful. The world around us is constantly screaming about success, fame, wealth, having impressive numbers, but God's standard is different. God demands faithfulness. He looks for reliability, obedience, and trustworthiness. You can be completely faithful in what God has given you, even if the world doesn't see you as successful. And that is true stewardship. The startup activity in your module perfectly highlights the conflict we all face, the battle between our own will and our duty as a steward. It contrasts to mindsets. The first is spend exactly as you wish. This represents our natural, self-centered human desire. It's all about asking, what will please me right now? The second mindset is spend as a good steward. This represents the God-centered nature we're called to have. This mindset asks a different question. What is the wisest use of this resource? The journey from that first self-centered mindset to the second God-centered one is a true sign of spiritual maturity. It's about shifting our focus from our own wants to God's will. So, where does all this come from? The lesson grounds all these principles in the ultimate authority, the Bible. It points us to 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 1, 2, and 7. Let me read it for you. Let a man regard us in this manner as servants of Christ and stewards of the mysteries of God. In this case, moreover, it is required of stewards that one be found trustworthy. And what do you have that you did not receive? This passage gives us 3 powerful truths. First, our identity. We are servants of Christ. Second, our requirement. We must be trustworthy or faithful. And third, the humble reality. That question at the end, what do you have that you did not receive, is a powerful reminder. It tells us that boasting is foolish. Every skill you have, every peso in your pocket, and every minute of your day is a gift from God. Nothing we have is truly our own creation. So, to wrap it all up, Lesson 3 teaches us something profound. Life isn't about collecting and acquiring things for ourselves. It's about a radical shift in perspective. It's about recognizing that God is the ultimate owner of our time, our talents, and our treasures. Our job, our calling, is to be good managers of these amazing gifts. We are called to manage them wisely, creatively, and productively. Why? So that when that day comes, when we are held accountable, we will be found faithful. Thank you so much for joining me for this discussion today. I hope this helps you understand the heart of stewardship. Take some time to think about your time, your talents, and your treasures this week. Our memory verse is found in 1 Corinthians 4:1, 27b. It says, let a man regard us in this manner, as servants of Christ and stewards of the mysteries of God. In this case, moreover, it is required of stewards that one be found trustworthy. And what do you have that you did not receive? Paul reminds believers in 1 Corinthians 4, verses 1 and 2, that we are servants of Christ and stewards of the mysteries of God, meaning our identity is rooted in serving Christ and faithfully managing what He has entrusted to us. A servant does not live for himself, but for the one he follows. A steward is someone trusted with something precious that belongs to someone else, in this case. The gospel, truth, opportunities, abilities, and resources God gives. Scripture emphasizes that what God requires from every steward is faithfulness, not fame, not success, and not applause. Faithfulness means being dependable, honest, diligent, humble, and committed to what God has placed in our hands. Paul then gently humbles the proud heart by asking, what do you have that you did not receive? This question silences boasting because it reminds us that everything, our time, our talents, our treasures came from God's goodness and not our own greatness. God bless you all, and I'll see you in our next lesson. Don't forget to subscribe for more lessons.